lot of people are definitely making the leap. The benefits of having a home-based business is everything. Now, I'll say this: you'll see some people out there on social media and actually being interviewed by some pretty big names, and they're giving out trash information. But I'll say this: you can write off, if you have a home-based business, a portion of your mortgage interest, a portion of your real estate taxes, um, a portion of your utilities, right? So your gas, your power, lights, anything like that, you can write off a portion. And usually what the formula is you take your dedicated workspace. So you should have a dedicated workspace, whether it's an office, whether it's a cellar or garage, where you only use that space for business. See what the square footage is of that space, and then divide that square footage of that space by the square footage of your house. For example, let's say you have a home office, it's 100 square feet. You live in a home that's 1,000 square feet. 100 divided by 1,000 is 10%. So you get the write-off 10% of your mortgage interest. You get the write-off 10% of your power, light bills, real estate tax, things like that. Even some of your maintenance to your home, you get to write off a portion of that as well. You wouldn't get the rent. You wouldn't get to write that off without you not having a business, right? So I tell people all the time, the best tax deductions are for property owners, real estate owners, rental investment owners or flippers, and business owners. And so the reason the IRS gives these people these tax breaks is because all of these activities help encourage the economy to grow, help keep the economy moving. And so you want to be on the side of economic movement per the government standard, right? So if you're a business owner, again, you can write all the things off. You can also write off your cell phone. Now, I want to warn all y'all that if you only have one cell phone and it's just you, please don't write off your entire cell phone bill. Why? Because the IRS knows you don't use your one cell phone entirely for business use. It's almost impossible that you don't take a call from Nana, my mom, your son, your daughter, and they'll look for that as an auditable thing, and that could jam you.
Do you see this, guys that are watching on YouTube? I got two phones, one for the plug. You know, that's Kevin. Let me stop. But no, that's a major key. It's very, very important to separate that. And it's so cheap to get an additional line on your cell phone plan that you specifically use for business. I know a lot of folks, and I do want you to finish, but I just wanted to mention, guys and girls listening, that, you know, if you can get a Google Voice number, and a lot of folks do that for business, but why not actually have something that you can write off? Because if your income is, if you're a 1099, especially if you're a small business owner, gig hustler, whatever, you want as many things documentable that you can write off. And you can't write off a Google Voice because a Google Voice is free, but you can write off a cell phone line that might be maybe an extra $30 or $40 on your bill. You can write off a significant portion of that on your taxes. And you mentioned, Kamar, as far as the tax bill being more beneficial for, you know, real estate investors, as well as small business owners. If there are individuals that are, let's say, 100% W-2, are they able to write off anything to your knowledge, or it's still no at this point?
Well, no, they can write off things, right? But it's just not as powerful, right? So depending upon your tax level or your filing status, right? Because you can file as a single person, right? You have no dependents. You can file as head of household. That's when you have a dependent that lives with you, usually a child. You can file as married or married filing jointly. And each one of those will have different threshold amounts. So when I say threshold amounts, I'm talking about standard deductions. So usually, I want to say off the top of my head, your head of household filing is about $18,350. So that $18,350 is the amount that everybody gets that files head of household to subtract against their income. So it's the first tax deduction you get, right? So if you make, let's say you make, I don't know, $20,000, and just for even numbers, you get to write off that first $18,000 with the standard deduction. However, if you have things like, again, a home mortgage, real estate tax, if you give money to a a religious institution or a charitable institution, you can write those off too. And then you have what's called itemized deduction. So the problem, well, not the problem, but the law states that you can't do itemized deductions for a head of household person until you exceed that $18,000 threshold. So you get $18,000 basically off the rip, right? So again, you make $20,000, you're only paying taxes on $2,000, right? So again, that will bring your income down considerably depending on where you're at. It goes up. For example, if you're married filing jointly, you get $24,000, right? So again, if you made, let's say you made, I don't know, $30,000 and you're married, you get to write off $24,000 off the rip. So, all of those things are important. So to answer your question, yes, you get other items. You can write off some of your student loan interest if you have student loans. If you have children in daycare, young children in daycare, you could potentially write off some of that. If you went to college, you could potentially write off some of that. But it all depends, and there's all different kind of rules and thresholds that a person has to exceed. However, if you are a W-2 person and you got a side hustle, you get to write off a lot more.
That's dope. Yeah, and guys, guys and girls, start that business. You can start it with just a simple website. You can go on Wix or any of these free Canva, any of these free website designs. Start your business. I'm a man of faith, Kamari. So I always reference scripture throughout the channel, and it talks about writing the vision and making it clear. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. And so it's super important, y'all, that you not only absorbing the information that's being brought to you today, guys, but that you're actually executing on it. Obviously, everything that Kamari and myself are talking about is general information. You want to seek a specific professional for your personal situation, because this is not tax advice or any investment advice, but I want you guys to start your business. There are so many benefits, as you mentioned, Kamari, that the government incentivizes entrepreneurship, but you can always get guidance and get help from the SBA department. And I mean, they will literally walk you through every single step that you need to go to establish a legitimate business, get your business license in place, get financing, all that. So I just think, unfortunately, money, the worship of money is the root of all evil. That's another scripture that
Thank you. The love of money
is as often misquoted as money being the root, but no, it's the worship.
I just talked about that.
Yeah, and so, I think that try to bootstrap as much as you can, guys and girls, with your business. Try to take advantage of as much free as possible, but then see the blessing of a financial injection that you didn't necessarily earn for what it is. Sit on that money and then deploy it as needed, because, a lot of those situations, I just feel like, it just could have been avoided by going about things the right way.